the formula that I share, that I'm going to teach, is the decision-making model that is just like a simple equation that we can apply to life like a story problem, where we can sort out really easily what makes it feel complicated. What are the things that seem so complicated about it? Put it in its correct place so we can know, oh, this actually isn't for me to control. This is. There's circumstances. Circumstances are all of the things that we can take off of I need to be responsible for you list. I need to care about you list. That is not for us to do. What we make it mean, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, our results, everything below the line, that is all within our power. So the great news is there's so much more that we can reclaim power of that's not in our sphere. So I want to break this down, and I want to do it in the context of applying this to life problems so that we can see what are the things we're experiencing that are simply facts. They are simply for us to offer us an opportunity to shift, grow, contract, or whatnot, versus all of the reality that we are experiencing that is within our power to shift, move, and to control, so that we are able to not only define the problem, to arrive at a solution, but to move in a way that feels good, that is sustainable, and that allows us to navigate change that we know is coming with intention and with strength and with ease and with grace and with restoration. Okay, so what are circumstances? There's really 3 categories, right, where you can think of circumstances. These are all of the things that are outside of our control, right? Like neutral facts, for example. A neutral fact is something that there is no subjective argument about it, right? Like, is that a picture of a tree? Yes, it is. We don't need to argue about that. That is neutral. Historical events. Now, I'm going to say the past specifically. These are circumstances. Why? Because if it happened in time, it did in fact happen. You saying that it didn't doesn't mean that it didn't. You saying that it did doesn't mean that it did. But the point is, we can shift our relationship with the past. Like, what do we make it mean? What do we make it mean about us? But the fact that it happened is what it is. The third thing is other humans. Now, people are not in our control. As a project manager, working with human resources all of the time, I wish people would do what I told them to do, but they don't. And guess what? It's not their job. It's not for me to control them. I get to release that from my list of things to care about list. You know why? Because getting me to do what I need me to do 100% of the time is a full-time job. So let's talk about that. If we were to get us to do what we wanted us to do in every story problem that we find ourselves in, what do we have the power to control? Well, our thoughts, right? So the thoughts are really the sentences in your head, the stories, the narrative, the meanings that we assign to those neutral facts, to the stories about our lives and our history, right? Like, everything that we experience, we automatically make a story about it. We automatically make it mean a thing. And I'm going to tell you what, there's thoughts not just in our brain, not at just the conscious level, but in our muscle memory, at our physical level. You have to consider the fact that our bodies are fantastic and genius, might I add. It adapts, it learns to keep us safe, to keep us alive. And there are things programmed in our muscle memory that we just haven't unpacked yet. And our thoughts, whether it is at the body level or the mental level, it will drive how we feel. There is nothing in your life that you have ever done that you did not in some way, shape, or form feel to do, okay? Whether that feeling was guilt, shame, obligation, joy, excitement, elation, whatever it is, we can find it and we can call it by name as a single vibration. Because when we understand the feeling, we know what's driving the action. And now our action is what you do, what you don't do, and what you react to. So it's an action or an inaction. The interesting thing here is that a lot of times people like to focus on the action and the result. But when that happens, there is a complete miss of being able to detangle the circumstances from the thoughts or the stories that you've made it mean, and how that makes you feel, which is actually moving you in one direction or another. With those three things not identified or sorted out, how are you really going to solve the problem? When we know that, we can obviously see what the results are. It's very simple on paper. If we say, if I eat food that I'm allergic to, I will have this result. I will have this reaction. It's pretty simple. We know that. But the part that makes it complicated is the feelings and the thoughts and all of the reality that we're experiencing while we're just trying to move through life.